What's going on, guys? Bob Roche from RocheTechnology.com here with my full review for you of the Otterbox Commuter Series case for the iPhone 4 and 4S. This was sponsored by Teamart.com, so be sure to check their link out somewhere down there in the description. They have tons of accessories for many different products. I could go on and on all day, but even then we'd probably still run out of time. That's basically how many accessories they have. So be sure to check their link out right there. This case, the link to this case will also be right there in the description, as well as just the regular site where you guys can browse until your heart's content. So in my usual review fashion, I've constructed a pros and a cons list of this case. So first off, I want to start with, it has a great color combination and overall design. As you can see, this is a two-part case. Well, you can't really see, but however, now you can. This is a two-part case, and each one of these colors can be, a different color. They have many different colors, color schemes, I should say, available for this. So that can appeal to many different people. So that's something I always like in a case. Now, what's also nice about having two layers is that these are actually very nice for protection. This layer, as you can tell, is more of a silicone sort of feel, so it has like a nice cushiony feel if your phone drops, whereas this one is good for like scratches on the back of the phone, or as you can see, each corner here is pretty covered by plastic. You see it like does wrap around a little bit around, I'd say at least like 3/4 of the way around any corner. So if you do drop your phone on a corner like this, you'll have not only the silicone protecting the phone, but also the plastic piece down here as well. So now I'll walk you guys through the installation process. It is very easy, and I'm sure you could figure this out in your mind just by looking at this stuff. But I'll go ahead and, by the way, I refer to this as the mustard for obvious reasons, unless you're colorblind, of course. So we'll go ahead and throw this guy on here like so. Now installation is pretty easy. I really have no complaints about it. So as you can see, it is now in the mustard. It's just drenched in the mustard. It's taking a nice swim. And now we have, I guess we'll call this the dolphin, just because, the color and everything. Once again, unless you're colorblind. But anyway, regardless, we have the mustard, and then we have the dolphin, I guess, just devouring the mustard. Now this makes for an overall great fit. As you can see, it lines up right with the phone. All the ports are there, the 30-pin connector, the headphone connector, you have your camera on the back, the nice Apple cutout, the volume buttons. Everything about this case does line up very well. It looks very nice. So get you nice side shots here, and I will say that the edge over here is risen up, as you can see from the screen, just a little bit, but it is enough that if you drop it here, the screen of the phone is not actually hitting the desk here, so that does add some protection if you drop it like on cement or something. Well, I mean, if there's like some little pebbles here, it would still hit the screen, but just flat surfaces like this desk, look about it, it's kind of crazy with all these scratches. I am getting a new desk very, very soon, so there you go to you guys that are always commenting on the desk. Very old desk. But anyway, back to the point of this review. This does come up from the side there, so it is very nice to protect that nice shiny screen of yours. And now, speaking of all the I/O connections, I will say this case has something that's very nice. It actually protects certain things. So for example, as you can see here, this has a nice little fold out for the 30-pin dock connector. And if you look inside mine there's tons of lint and there's tons of dirt that you really just can't get out of there. That's just from everyday use, going in and out of my pockets all the time. Same thing can be said about the headphone jack. My phone is in not the best shape. There is a lot of stuff in there. But these will definitely help, I guess, reduce that for the future. Or if you have a brand new iPhone and you have like a case like this from the start, that'll really help extend the life of these connectors down here and in the headphone jack as well. So that's very nice that this does actually include these little protectors that'll help you, I guess, maximize the life out of your phone. Now, while I do like this case very much, no case is perfect, and there are just a few minor cons here. The first one is that this power button up here is sort of tough to push. Most cases I've used, other than like the Pure Gear Slim Shell, that was sort of like a recessed one. This one is just sort of harder to push. Now, obviously, you really don't have to be like Hulk Hogan to push that thing down, or like the Incredible Hulk or anything. But it does require a little bit more force than just the the typical button up here, or in some other cases. But that could be a good thing. That just shows, I mean, that this stuff is pretty durable. So probably if you use this button a lot, which when I turn my phone on, the only reason I ever use this is to turn it off. But to wake my phone up, I always just push the home button, so it's really not a big deal. And it probably will get broken in, like, the more you use it. So that's really not a big deal. Also, the other con I have is that this guy here, while it does help protect the 30-pin connector, it does make this thing kind of undockable unless you have like a really big and spacious dock where you can like tuck this guy back like this. But that, I feel, just really weakens this, and after a while I'm sure it would rip. Like right around here. After a while, it just, it can only be folded so many times. But in just a traditional dock, like I have a Sony clock radio that I dock this on to wake up every morning, and I found myself not really wanting to do that, not have this, pushed back like this for hours at a time. So if you're a person that likes to dock their phone at night, like or even like at their desk, if you have something like this, the Apple dock connector. Obviously with any case really this doesn't work, but if you're someone that likes to put this in the clock radio or maybe something in the kitchen, like any sort of adapter, unless you have like a really wide one, this might be a problem for you because I don't believe you can really fold it back all the way. That's really starting to put some tension on there, and I don't really like that. So that's a minor con. However, if you're someone that just takes the cable and plugs it in and leaves it overnight to charge, then you really have no worries here. You're good to go. So that's all I have for the review of the Otterbox Commuter Series case. Overall, a very nice case. It offers a very good amount of protection. And if you guys have ever used an Otterbox case before, this one, it's Otterbox. I mean, it has great, I guess, protection and a very nice looking body. I guess you can call this case a body. But so like I said, overall colors, design, nice little protective features like this. Overall, a very nice case. Right now, this case can be found for $25.38 over at tmart.com. I highly recommend this case. For a $25 case, this is the best I've seen, especially for that price range. It offers, like I said, lots of protection, overall a very nice look, and many different color combinations as well. So I can definitely recommend this product, especially for a mere $25. So thank you guys very much for watching. I'm at CPKid on Twitter. Also be sure to check out RocheTechnology.com and at RocheTechnology on Twitter. I'd like to thank tmart.com one last time for sponsoring this case for review, and I hope to see you guys in my next video.